here. It's 5 p.m. in Brooklyn, New York. Beautiful day. I hope you all are having a great day as well. I hope some of you were able to snag a Holo Icon pack, and if not, I hope you were able to snag a Rebound pack. Excited to be here. Do I have Mo here?
Yes, you do. Thank you for joining today.
Mo, welcome to your Top Shot office hours debut moderating. Excited to do this with you. Really
I am as well.
grateful to have you filling in on short notice. You are, guys, Mo has been such a wonderful addition to the team. Mo, you've been here for what, a month now?
Yeah.
Crazy. It feels like 6 months.
It's been a fun month. It's been a fun month.
Great to have you. Community, looking forward to answering your questions. I'm sure there are plenty of things on your mind. I see people are slowly but surely trickling in, always humbling to see the community come together. We're doing this. We're doing it Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We're recording them. They go up on YouTube. We timestamp them. If your friends miss it, you can send them the YouTube link. But this is our opportunity to answer anything that's on your mind. Obviously, I don't have all the answers at all the time, but I wouldn't do these if I didn't think that they were helpful for us to get our message out and helpful for you all to get a better understanding of what burning questions you might have this week and answers around them. So without further ado, I'm looking forward to just kind of diving right in, Mo. How's that feel?
That feels great. I mean, so we're gonna have the questions based in categories, and we can start off with packs. And the most question that we've been seeing is, are there any updates on when recent sales transaction history will they be back?
Yeah, so this is one that I admittedly should have prepped more of an answer for because I'm sure it's hot button in the community. I have seen it on tweets. My understanding is that having the entire transaction history takes up a lot of usage on the servers, right? So for every moment having the entire transaction history, it just makes the site move a little slower and perform a little worse. Now that is we understand the value of having all total transaction history, and I think we have full intention on bringing it back in a capacity that we don't have the negative side effects of bringing it back with distraction, so to speak. So that's kind of where we stand now, but certainly plenty more kind of tangible details about timeline still to come. I just am not in a position to. I don't have great visibility. If I'm being fully transparent, I've got 56 Slack messages that I haven't gotten to from today. Just diving from meeting to meeting. 68 emails. Life is great. We're on Tuesday. It'll be a fun one. So
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I need to eat at some point today, so maybe it will be tacos. But yeah, sorry for the underwhelming answer to anyone in the community that was looking for a more substantial kind of deadline. But as always here, I'm not here to talk out of my ass, pardon my French. I'm here to give answers that I know for sure. And if I don't know for sure, y'all hear it from me from the horse's mouth.
Thank you. And staying on the topic of packs, can you hint at any new packs ahead? Is there an amount of packs you guys aim to release per month, or is it as when the right time comes?
Yeah, I think like long term, we're still hopeful that we can get into 2 drops per week cadence. Mondays, Thursdays tend to be the best days for that. No details about whether that's going to happen this week. If that's next week, you will hear when we are in a position to announce if there is anything this week. But what I will say is like the community loves packs, and we love giving the community what they want. I think yesterday had a lot of moving parts, a lot of areas where things could have gone wrong. And I'm really, not to suggest that it was perfect. I don't think that perfect is a fair measurement to stack up against these days, but it certainly was a success. A lot of community members left with a pack in their hands, whether it was the Holo Icon they originally sought out or the Rebound pack that they recovered from. And yeah, I would just say Stay tuned. We always give at least 8 hours heads up if there's a limited edition drop. So if there's something coming, you will know about it with ample time. We choose 8 hours very specifically so that in theory someone could sleep, and in within their 8 hour sleep schedule they can maybe they miss the news, but they'll still wake up in time to be able to react accordingly.
Thank you. And this is more of a global question. As Top Shot expands more into international markets, are there plans to adjust pack drop timings to suit Asia, Australia, New Zealand time zones, for etc.?
Yeah, so we've done a little bit of that already. Admittedly, we could do a better job of that for sure. What I would say though is right now the big kind of bottleneck or constraint from being able to accommodate the Asian markets very directly is our team is based overwhelmingly in North America, and as you all see, there's a lot that goes into a stream or into a pack drop, from the actual mechanics of dropping the packs and having an inflow and outflow from the queue to ensure that the site doesn't crash, to ensure that people get their pack and can open it without bugs, or the experience that we've heard about where someone opens a pack and it kind of breaks, and then half an hour later they see the moments in their collection. So those are all things that you need a team for. We need a whole team to produce the stream show. We had Jay Skeets, Trey Kirby, Richard Hamilton, Channing Frye in the show yesterday. We are aiming every time there's a limited edition drop to have something fun, keep the people entertained as they're waiting for their packs. So unfortunately, all of those ingredients with a team based in North America and overwhelming community based in North America makes it really hard to do drops specifically accommodating those time zones. But what I think you have seen and will continue to see is drops in the kind of noon Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Pacific, that general framework, any hour in that kind of interval could be eligible for a drop. Certainly could go a little later, could go a little earlier. Of course, if we're starting a drop at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're selling, tens of thousands of packs, these drops don't, we kind of throttle the queue to ensure that there aren't site breaks along the way, that people are able to open their pack and have a good experience. So we don't want to start too late, selfishly speaking. And Mo, I know you're with me on this. We're Eastern time working for a West Coast company, which has a lot of perks. And at times, it means we're staying up till 2, 3 a.m. doing stuff. So, ideally we can avoid doing drops that go too late. But I think you're going to continue to see kind of the 9 a.m. Pacific 5 through 5 p.m. Pacific. And if we do something later in the day, that tends to accommodate the mornings in Asia pretty well. But for the same conflicts and reasons I didn't move to Europe or Asia when I was younger, like it's hard to watch the NBA and be an NBA fan in Europe because the schedule certainly does not accommodate that time zone.
Definitely. And moving on, so I know everyone's excited about when Cool Cats will happen, when can we expect them, and will the special CryptoKitties moment still be required?
Yes, the CryptoKitties moment will be required, as veering. That's always been the intention. That's been the consistent messaging. I don't know why that would be a question at this point. Just to dispel any misinformation out there, the CryptoKitties exclusive Cool Cat Karl Anthony Towns moment will be required for the Master Challenge. Absolutely. We are planning on making some good progress. I think one of the next, if not the next, limited edition drop that you will see will be the next Cool Cat set, or the fourth Cool Cats drop. I think we are putting the finishing touches on what a challenge could look like for one of those moments as well. By finishing touches, I think you can safely anticipate something before the end of the month that includes that. And yeah, I think we'll continue to monitor, but I think the community can safely anticipate that more cool cats are on their way and they're coming soon.
That sounds really exciting. And I know everyone here, we just had the big Holo drop, and a lot of the collectors want to hear your post thoughts on how it went. How do you feel the requirements? Some think it might have been too easy, and how do you think you will go about changing this?
So maybe to reframe the question, Mo.
Go ahead.
I don't think that we are ever set on any requirements being the long term answer. Certainly, a lot of, not a lot, but hearing from a vocal minority of people that thought that the requirements were too easy, hearing from a vocal minority of collectors that thought that the requirements were way too hard.
Mhm.
We're in a position where we literally cannot accommodate everyone. It's just impossible. Now we got to 80,000 or so eligible collectors. 80,000 eligible collectors feels like a good number for yesterday's drop. And that's not to say that that will feel like a good number for next Holo Icon drop. But what I do think was important is widespread access for a lot of collectors. We put together criteria that we thought gave a lot of benefit of the doubt to a collector. If you didn't meet any of the criteria, then I don't have that much empathy for you because you weren't by definition one of the top 80,000 collectors on Top Shot. And only there were 2,500 or so packs. So 3% of the 80,000 top collectors were going to be the winners out of it. And expanding that would not be fair to the top 80,000. So certainly are there edge cases. I had 14 moments. I had 13 moments in one rare. Yeah, of course. And all I can say long term for the collectors that felt shunted out and want in next time, like you can look at those requirements as a general kind of north star of, okay, we're trying to accomplish and accommodate X percentage of our user base. Yesterday happened to be 80,000, so you guys can kind of do the napkin math of how many collectors have been buying moment through crypto slant. Like I think that's all fair game to kind of do speculation on. We don't want Holo Icon packs to be accessible to everyone. We want to create thresholds that make it impossible for bots to abuse. We want to create thresholds that disincentivize extractors from the market. And when I use the phrase extractor, I want to kind of reframe how we look at flippers. I think it's very natural for a collector on Top Shot to buy a pack, get moments that they're not necessarily in love with, list them on the marketplace, get credit for the moments that they sold, and then reinvest in other moments. That's totally healthy behavior, and that should not be looked down upon, I don't think. So when we're looking at collectors that don't go in for the right reasons, I think the extractors are those that get a pack and they say, I'm going to sell this account. Who's buying so that you could get the pack contents, or I'm going to buy this pack. I'm going to sell these moments instantly. I'm just going to sit on the credits. And then next time there's a drop, I'm going to do the same thing.
Thank you. I know there was a really positive sentiment about rebound packs. Can we expect more in the future?
Yeah, I think so. I agree. It's a big win. We're going to constantly look into rebound packs, especially around limited edition drops. And by limited edition, I know like cool cats are technically a limited edition drop, but if they're, let me please, community, do not aggregate this as the rule of thumb going forward. But if we're looking at a drop that has 60, 70,000 packs, more than that available, less of a desire, less of a need or urgency from my perspective, to attach rebound packs to the back of that, because at the end of the day, that's more than 50,000, 60,000 collectors leaving pretty happy. In the cases where there are 10,000 packs, 5,000 packs, 2,000 packs for the big winners, that's when I feel more urgency and incentive to attach a rebound pack so that there are more winners, or at least less people leaving feeling like they lost.
Um, so how did you feel the requirements fit for your ideas of keeping legendaries in the hands of collectors? Do you feel the drop went well, both in terms of the queue and the results?
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty satisfied. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a perfect execution. No, there are always things that we can improve. We will improve. Looking forward to improving. And I feel at the end of the day, I just think about all of the different variables in play and all of the different things that could have gone wrong. And I know that most of the people in this chat are uh, some of our most valuable and important collectors that really care about Top Shot long term, and just love Top Shot. And I can't express enough how appreciative I am of each and every one of you. But what I would say is, like, there's a little bit of a moving the goalposts in the community at times where people are angry about something that happened yesterday. Like, I just want to contextualize. Like, let's think back to the most recent legendary drop before yesterday. That was a legitimate, and it didn't go smoothly. What I think, we've made a huge strides, and yesterday, I don't think, like, I'm always on Twitter, as you know, and there wasn't an I didn't get the sense that the community had doubt that the drop would happen on time. 2 months ago, there was a ton of doubt that the drop would not only happen on time, but whether it would happen the day that we said it would. So that's a win. Uh, there was never a doubt in our eyes that the rebound pack flow would work. That was a very new concept that we only stress tested once before, and that worked with a big success. Uh, there was never a doubt that the eligibility requirements would work as intended. So someone that wasn't eligible wouldn't be able to get into the drop. That was a risk, and that worked out. Like, I'm by no means am I here to take a victory lap and say that yesterday was the best thing that ever happened. No, we always have things we can work on. But when I think of all of the different variables at play, and we're moving so fast, and there's always kind of an urgency on our end to deliver the best collector experience possible. I think, like, at the end of the day, we have to exhale a little bit and say, this went pretty well. This went pretty well. The community overall is not up in arms. Most people that were eligible got their rebound pack. Were there a couple of glitches and errors along the way that we can patch up? Absolutely. But in legendary drops, there's very minimal room for error. And we walked out of that with, I think, a generally positive internal satisfaction with the drop going well.
Yeah, I also think that we've come a really long way from our first Holo Pack drop to where we are now, and we are definitely making a lot of strides and progressing, which is awesome. And now moving on to withdrawals, I'm gonna throw you a tough question right now. Can you shed any light on the handling of collectors who have been KYC'd since January/February, with a history of voluminous but innocuous gifting, who seem to be getting deprioritized for withdrawal access versus newer, simpler accounts?
Yeah. Um, let me.
It's
I
a
want
tough
to.
question.
Yeah, no, it's tough and it's fair, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to duck questions. I do know that there are people here that are going to, they're the most implicated by this, and they're going to be the most annoyed by it. But I think at the end of the day, we have hundreds of thousands of collectors, right? And from my understanding, the amount of time it would take to investigate and process one suspicious collector that has done very questionable off-market behavior, weird gifting patterns, clear kind of Vegas Dave situations. The amount of time it would take to investigate one of the more straightforward of the complicated cases. We can handle 20 to 50 straightforward cases like that. And for us, we want to prioritize access to everyone. And that doesn't mean that we're going to disregard the complicated cases in perpetuity. But as we still have such a deficit of people we need to get access to, I think in the short term, our priority is going to continue to be getting access to as many people as possible. And I think last week we got close to 15,000. We're hopeful to continue that kind of trajectory, if not more. And yeah, I don't want to set our team up for unrealistic expectations, but the more people we can get access to, the better. Those that are in a complicated situation, to be very, very clear to the entire community here, we're talking about 2% of those with access to withdrawals. 2% of people that request their withdrawal have their processing time take more than 22 days. 2%. Is that 2% super vocal? Absolutely. Does that 2% deserve to be processed, eventually? Absolutely. We're not in a position where we're trying to give anyone grief or a hard time, but we are trying to play the weighing game of, okay, how can we give the most collectors the best experience possible? And unfortunately, as we scale up our team, we just don't have the hands to address every single situation with the most hands on deck. And I think that will happen in due time. By no means am I suggesting that those who have been stuck in the quote unquote purgatory will be there for a long time. But I think right now, as we're trying to weigh those options, you're going to see a lot of collectors that gain access to withdrawals have their smooth processing times. And I think that you're going to see another kind of the 2% of people that have really suspicious trading histories off market, have done kind of egregious gifting patterns. Those people. And one of the other complicated layers to this is, like, I've been explicitly told by my team, don't go into the details of what suspicious means, because then you're training people to avoid getting kind of identified if they are bad actors. And that's an interesting perspective that, I have to respect. I'm talking to people that have worked really high up in banks that know about fraud really, really well. And at the end of the day, they know what they're doing really well. And I'll take 2% of grief if it means that 98% of collectors are going to be able to gain access to withdrawals and process their withdrawals in less than 3 weeks. 3 weeks or less, I should rephrase.
Thank you for trying to answer that to the best of your abilities. When will withdrawals be supported in Asian countries such as Malaysia?
So to maybe clarify this a little bit, withdrawals are accessible internationally. Any country that supports Coinbase is supported with withdrawals to USDC. We support it in all of those countries. Bank withdrawals, yes, that is something that we're working on. Right now it's in the US. Pretty soon it will be in Canada and the UK. But I think there's a little bit of misinformation around that. When we're talking about, if you're in Malaysia, can you withdraw? If Coinbase supports your withdrawal in Malaysia, absolutely, you can withdraw. That is, at the end of the day, Coinbase is a company that they're very, very international. Not to speculate, but I did read something about them being the $100 billion company. That was from Forbes today. So I have faith that Coinbase is available in a lot of places. And if you are a collector trying to withdraw internationally, there's a pretty decent chance that your country will be compatible with Coinbase.
And moving on from withdrawals more into marketplace futures, is there any news on when common count moments from traded players will be turned into limited editions?
Nope. You'll have to just wait and see what we put out a little while ago. maybe 2 weeks ago, is that pretty soon, about 10% at least of the Series 2 base set moments that are at 35,000 will be retired. What you can safely anticipate as collectors, and this is not new information, though we can always do a better job of making sure everything is super, super well communicated, is players that have been traded will not have more moments minted from their old team. So if there's a player at 35,000 and they've been traded to a new team, we're not going to continue to mint and grow their edition size from the old team. So you can safely anticipate those players' moments will get retired at 35K.
Sick. Do you have are there any future plans regarding adding badges for game winners, ankle breakers, trying to make more fun out of it?
Um, So we're kind of no is the short answer. I don't think that
Mhm.
there's specific talks about those plans. I think what you will see is us adding more badges in due time. We've said this before. We'll keep saying it. What those badges look like, I don't know. I don't think ankle breakers comes to mind as something that we need to add as a badge. Um, but what can coexist with badges and isn't a badge, and I don't want the collectors to conflate them as the same thing because they're different, but tags. So we can add layers to the marketplace search feature, which enable you to look up things that don't necessarily result in a badge, but will result in a subcategory. Kind of like you're searching the Knicks, you can find all the Knicks moments. You're searching Carl Anthony Towns, you could find all the Carl Anthony Towns moments. That's kind of the direction we're heading, where maybe one day you can type in, I'm trying to choose very carefully. I don't know if ankle breakers is an example of this, but in the edge case that we do go in that route and you type in ankle breakers, then yes, you could still find all the ankle breaker moments on Top Shot without necessarily seeing a badge denoting that it's an ankle breaker.
Thank you for answering my next question too. It was, can you add some sort of tag to make this category or place searchable in the marketplace? And I think you covered that really well. Are there any ideas on a time frame for a bidding feature or such as a trading feature? I know we have gifting right now.
Yeah. No, I don't have a timeline. I know that's on our, wish list of things to add someday. But no, I don't think that we have any specific frame for when offers or bids are going to come. But what I can say with confidence is that the community is excited about it, and our team is open minded to things that the community is excited about. And I think we think there are benefits to that as well that can make it a more dynamic and interesting collector experience. So I want to see it at some point. Is some point this year? Is some point next year? The year after? Who knows? I don't want to speculate on things that are not within my control, nor anything that I have certainty around.
Is there any movement on being able to relist without delisting? A lot of people complain about too many sale errors, refreshes, makes your changing list price very time consuming and frustrating. Is that something in the possible future?
Yeah, that's another idea that I know the team is like editing the listing price essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. It'll happen at some point down the road. Uh, I really like it. I think our team really likes it. Additionally, I think adding guardrails, so if you misprice your moment, you miss a zero, you miss a digit, you my hope is that you'll get feedback in the UI that says, "Are you sure this is the lowest priced moment now?" Things like that. Just adding an extra guardrail so collectors can with that being said, it is up to the collector to be diligent. If you're listing a moment that you are trying to sell for lots of money, least you can do as a collector is, double check the price that you're listing it for. I did see a LeBron moment sell, a Holo Icon moment sell for like $2,800 earlier today, and I just feel bad for the collector because they obviously made a careless mistake. But at the same time, um, these are important collectibles. You need to treat them as such.
And then more of a visual question. Can you guys please add a comma to serial numbers in the thousands? It would make searching slash seeing your collection easier.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. I know that there's a plan to add commas to prices. Um, Adding a comma to the serial number sounds like uh, a possibility as well. Though I do know internationally, commas and decimal points flip, right? So uh,
Mm.
we're conscientious about not doing something to complicate the collector overseas.
And now I know everyone. We had the showcase announcement happen yesterday, so there's some questions coming in about it. How is the showcase contest being judged? Is it mainly by likes or the content as well within the showcase?
Yeah, to be very, very clear, there's only one layer of this that is subjective, which is the grand prize, the Holo Icon. Everything else is just strictly based on likes, right? So you get top 50 most liked, you're going to get yourself an early adopters pack. You get top 10 most liked, you're going to get yourself a Rising Stars pack. Um, Now, one thing that I'm going to go a little rogue here, I haven't checked with our lawyers, but it feels sensible to me, is if any players make a showcase and they get in the top 10 most liked, um, let's say Josh Hart and Tyrese Halliburton get in the top 10 most liked, for example, then I'll extend the top 12 reward and the top 52 reward, right? Like, I want to make sure that uh, the community doesn't necessarily feel like they can't like a player showcase because they're gonna remove their chances of getting a reward themselves. So I don't know if that articulated well, but basically, uh, we're not going to have the athletes take away prizes from the other members of the community that might not be as famous.
That sounds great to hear for a lot of the people that are fighting for likes and trying to fight to promote their showcases. Um, Moving on, how does onboarding new certified ballers work? For example, Bogdan doesn't count as a certified baller in the contest. Where are the accounts of others such as Clint Capella, Gordon, etc.?
Yeah. So I actually think that Bogdan was added to the picks page today. If they are under the certified ballers umbrella, so all those players you just mentioned, they're fair
Mm-hmm.
game. You can use them for sure. And Bogdan's moments to confirm are now a part of picks page, um, as is Shimezi Metu, as is Rashawn Holmes. Uh, and to be very transparent, I anticipate more players will be coming very soon. So this is definitely a list that's growing and it's a work in progress. And yeah, as a collector, I would just caution anyone from looking at the list right now as the finished list because more and more players are joining, as you all know, or many of you may know. Paul George signed up for Top Shot this weekend. That was awesome. Love Paul George. Great to have him in the community now. And hopefully
That's
more
awesome.
players keep coming.
And just to reiterate this information, someone's asking if my showcase was created before the start of the contest. Is it still eligible?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a community rollout miscue here, but what I would say is if your showcase was created on Monday, April 12th, we're not going to be too kind of stringent with the timestamp on it. But if you created it on Sunday night, that was kind of a imperfect rollout. So I would suggest um, you know making a new showcase for today and starting. There's a lot of time left. I think the early tastemakers in the showcase contest are not the finished product, but that would be my advice, just because that's what the legal terms and conditions suggest. So I don't want to do anything that doesn't jive with what the NBA and Players Association approved for us.
We appreciate it. Are there any future plans for more customization and showcases? such as picking your own transitions, your own effects, adding captions, emotes, all to make it more of your own?
Yeah, I think all of those are really cool and fun ideas. I don't have a timeline, nor would I say any of that stuff necessarily is on the roadmap for the near future. I think we have things that we're looking at that we look at as more like make or break on the success of Top Shot long term. But yeah, I think showcases will continue to be an exciting thing. This is not the first showcase contest; it will not be the last showcase contest. So you can certainly anticipate that we're going to keep on looking into Top Shot, um, as we see it.
As we all know, the playoffs are coming up, and there's a lot of exciting content coming around for that. Will non-playoff teams have any moments come out during the playoffs?
I think TBD there. You asked non-playoff moments coming out during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. I want to keep our optionality open. It's certainly possible, especially in like the first week of the playoffs, right? Like before playoff moments have been minted, there might be a content release, and it doesn't behoove us to limit that optionality. Um, Certainly possible.
And I believe that those were all the questions I had written up for you. And now we can go more into the office hours chat and I can read off some questions from there.
Perfect. Let's dive right in. Um,
What is on the timeline for Top Shot? If you can give us a peek of what's upcoming or what's on the table.
well, I think we're in the process of finishing up some fixes around baller status. So bringing baller status back should be something that happens maybe even this week. Um, so that's exciting. I think more content drops. I think things like Rebound Packs just happened. So I'm gonna, you know, rest in the solace of knowing that we've made some meaningful tweaks already this week. I think you'll see. Let me try to think of maybe something that's a juicier nugget. Baller status is one that I think will be kind of this week at some point, and maybe. Hmm,
That's big news though for a lot of our collectors because I know baller status is something that's been wanted to come back for a lot of people, and now you get to actually level up and progress through as you journey on through the marketplace and Top Shot.
right. Yeah, I think baller status is an exciting one, and I've been told that we'll retroactively apply uh, status points to collectors that didn't earn them while it was kind of broken.
Let me see.
See a question about seeing stars maintaining utility as promised going forward. I mean, all moments have utility. Be it in hardcore down the road. I wouldn't put it past us to include seeing stars moments in upcoming challenges that aren't seeing stars related. A lot of different ways. Um,
And
but
utility doesn't always have to relate to profit. It can come from just the satisfaction of owning that certain moment and, being that type of collector as well.
that's right.
Someone asked, will it be the original recent sales slash transaction history when it returns, like the last 1 through 10 sales?
I'm not sure, and I don't want to give the wrong answer. Uh,
Any ideas of what's going on with Series 1 moment? Any updates?
yeah, as I've said before, we'll say again, we have a plan settled, and we'll release it at some point in April of 2021. So got a couple more weeks to roll it out, but should be coming sooner rather than later.
Dumbo's asking, do you feel the showcase highlighter on the homepage is unfair for users to try to get their showcase into top 10 or top 50?
From my understanding, there's kind of a randomization to it. I think that it does give collectors, a good opportunity and incentive to try to get their collections showing. But if the community is against it, like I'm certainly open to reporting that back to the team. But yeah, I'm sensitive to the
Mm,
community's thoughts there.
see- Any new questions? Oh, I remember a question. How will the marketplace cool down? As we all know, it's been varied a lot through the month. Are we going to continue on uh p- picking out varied restrictions like 1 minute to 15 minutes until we find our perfect time?
Yeah, I don't think that we have a set time. I think 1 minute is ideal for a lot of people, and I think that um, 15 minutes is less ideal. But when we do 15 minutes, there's a good reason to make sure that less errors happen on the site.
What's the anticipated timeline responding towards completing series 2 and then moving on to series 3? I know that's far ahead in the future.
What what I've said before, and will reiterate here for sure, is that through the NBA playoffs, we're definitely going to be in Series 2 still.
Awesome. Mhm. Is there a leaderboard for showcase contests, or is that something that we can look to add in?
There isn't. It's something we can look to add in.
Awesome. I know a lot of these questions might be feature ads or insights to something that we can add and not really questions. So if a lot of people have questions, please type them in office hours chat. Someone's asking, is there any info on our referral system?
Um, we are going to add referrals back in a non-super incentivized way. We know that that would lead to a lot of nefarious behavior on the platform. Um, so I think you'll see referrals, but I don't think they'll be a huge part of the Top Shot experience necessarily. I see a question of will baller status change? Will there be much of an overhaul? Um, I think baller status is largely going to come back as it was with just fixes on the things that we needed it for. But I wouldn't necessarily say that that is the end. We're not going to just leave it fixed and say, okay, that's it for baller status. We're done. We'll look at ways that we can leverage baller status long term as well.
Someone's asking more about rare packs. How will the team maintain rare pack releases and not over-release moments moving forward compared to common moments slash packs?
Yeah, I mean, what was the last rare pack that we dropped? It was All Star Game, is that right?
I believe
Um,
so.
yeah, it's not like we're dropping rare packs regularly. Maybe you can get to a point where you expect to see rare packs every few weeks. Maybe I don't know. In an ideal world, we'd be um, able to turn on a dime very very regularly. But yeah, I think you'll continue to see rare packs come, but not like a every week type deal. I don't think.
People are asking, is there any info about the moment is not available for purchase? And any insight about that?
Yeah, it's usually due to someone having already purchased it and the UI not reading it that it's already been purchased.
Quick, easy answer. Thank you. For showcase contents, can we edit moments, add/remove them, and retain the likes?
What was that?
For showcase contests, for the creation of their showcases, can they edit their moments, add/remove them, and still retain their likes?
It's a good question. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know for sure. So I would recommend to any collector to make a duplicate showcase for themselves, give it a like, and then see if you make a change, whether that like goes away or not. Don't do it on one that's high stakes.
We can, if there's not that many more questions, we can dive into the NBA. I'd love to talk about some NBA happening lately. How do we feel about Kevin Durant's return? Who do we feel is gonna win the finals? I have the Nets, by the way. I think who do you have? The Sixers, I think? Or was it the Nuggets?
Well, it was the Lakers, then it was the Nuggets, and it's now the Nets. Um, I'm bummed about Jamal Murray. I was really looking forward to seeing what the Nuggets can do in the playoffs.
Mhm.
But no, for a few weeks now, since the Aldridge signing, and even before that, and not even to suggest that LaMarcus Aldridge is what he was, but I think the Nets just have too deep a bench. They have too many options. There's no team that can score with them. Uh, you're going to be a team that your third best defender has to defend Kyrie, James Harden, or Kevin Durant. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't work. You are going to need your best defender on each of those guys. So, I mean, Ben Simmons threw a little shade saying that you also need to defend. Well, you know,
I
I would
agree with him.
caution what you say, Ben, just because like come playoff time, like
They're sagging off you.
yeah, like it's gonna ring hollow when you're putting up 14 points a game and the Nets. Like I think that one thing that I can say with conviction here and feel very strongly about is none of the Nets' big three are as bad on defense as the reputation suggests. I think that we've seen it in the playoffs. Kevin Durant can be a very versatile multi-position defender. James Harden, one of the best post defenders in the NBA. Is he great on the perimeter? No, but he's
No.
very smart, knows how to put his hands in the right places on defense to poke balls loose, reads the floor decently well as a defender. Just historically has been a little lazy. And to be fair, when your usage is like 40%, like it was with Houston, like, yeah, you got to save your energy somewhere. And then Kyrie, we've seen it in the finals a few times. Mo, I know you saw it against the
Yeah.
Warrior. Like Kyrie,
2016,
Kyrie's
41
a
points back to back.
he's a better defender than people give him credit for in big games. Like he defended Steph pretty well. He's not Trae Young small. He's a little meatier, a little stronger. I think that Kevin's going to be, or sorry, I think Brooklyn's going to be much better in the playoffs on defense.
Correct?
I do.
So, but you're a long Knicks fan, right?
I am. Yeah.
So is it kind of like a little bit of like a little salt to the wound that Brooklyn's the one that's coming up and that New York hasn't gotten the free agents they've always wanted?
Always. Yeah, I mean, it makes it easier that the Knicks are a watchable team this year, 500. But yeah, you know, I live 10-minute walk from Barclays Center. Hope to get to a game at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say I thought that KD and Kyrie were coming to the Knicks. And you know, to be fair to my expectations. I know that Knicks fans get a lot of flack for thinking that the NBA revolves around them, but we traded Kristaps Porzingis for cap space. If we were trading our all-star unicorn, you'd think that you have kind of an under the table agreement that you're doing it for a good reason. So I
hmm
was upset to see that, but yeah, certainly.
Seeing the injuries with Porzingis, though, I honestly don't see it as being that bad of a trade as when it first came out.
Yeah, I agree, but also there's the reality here, Mo, that the Knicks, like I know for certain, I know 100% certainty that the Knicks did not talk to all 29 other teams about what they could get for KP. They wanted to move
Yeah.
fast, they wanted to move swiftly, but the two names that I keep coming back to that I've heard from scouts that I think the Knicks had a better than 50% chance of being able to get if they went to those teams and said, "Hey, we've got KP. Will you trade us this guy?" Number one is De'Aaron Fox. We chose Dennis Smith. Number two is Bam Adebayo, who at the time was fairly anonymous as a player, and now is one of the best two-way players in the entire NBA.
Yeah,
So
Dennis Smith was tough draft pick.
not our best work.
I mean, it's fine. I'm a Cavaliers fan. Our draft picks are pretty atrocious. As always, we drafted Anthony Bennett, so can't get worse than that.
It hasn't been. I mean, just give us the number one pick once. You get it twice in back-to-back years, Mo, or three times in 4 years. Was it with Kyrie, Wiggins, and Bennett?
Yeah, shout out to that NBA. I really do feel like the lottery is storyline. So hopefully the next, they didn't have the storyline they needed. We had LeBron coming back, all that. So they're like, all right, let's do it. Give him number one.
Yeah. That's a conspiracy spread. Okay. I've got time for a few more here. Any personal questions that I see, I unfortunately have to just kind of use the canned line of submit a ticket. If you've submitted a ticket, rest assured our team is working through the backlog and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I know that's super unsatisfying to many. I apologize. I'm not on the sport team. I'm the community and marketing team, unfortunately.
How do you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna ask, how do you feel about the NBA's play-in tournament? And we know our man Mark Cuban. He said he thinks it's a mistake. How do you feel about it?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I mean, I missed a word there.
It was mainly about how do you feel about the play-in tournament? Are you like excited about it? And because I think a lot of our collectors have seen other viewpoints from other owners saying, this might be a mistake. They're not excited about it. But from a fan perspective, how do you feel about it?
Well, I didn't hear Mark Cuban complaining about it before his team looked like they were going to be the 7th seed, right? Like, I think Mark Cuban would be totally happy with the play-in tournament if his team was the 5 seed, 4 seed, because he's going to be negatively impacted. This is a mistake. Luka doesn't like it. Again, he's the 7th seed. I think like to get an unbiased reaction. At the end of the day, it's a shorter season than usual. The NBA needs to recoup some of the money from shaving 10 games off the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the play-in tournament's brilliant. It will be fun. I'll definitely be watching, glued to my TV. Fun, entertaining stuff. Is any team playing in the play-in tournament from as good a team as Dallas is? Are they a championship contender? I don't really think so. So I don't think any team playing in the play-in tournament necessarily has the gravitas to say like we're above this. And as we've seen with the first 4 in the NCAA tournament, most recently with UCLA, but certainly with the Shabazz Napier UConn team as well, having a little momentum, going on a winning streak before the playoffs start or before other teams, it could catalyze your team. It could galvanize the team. It can energize. So I'm in favor of the play-in tournament. I think it's fun. Now I've got a kind of wonky idea that I want to kind of throw out to the community here.
Let's hear it.
I feel strongly about this one. I think that there should be a 1-game third place game between the Western Conference finalist that loses to the Western Conference or the Western Conference semifinalist and the Eastern Conference semifinalist. So the 2 teams that don't make the finals should play a third place game. They get a bronze trophy. Each player on the winning team gets 100 or 200 grand for playing in it. And the team that wins gets the 15th pick in the NBA draft. So there's a built-in incentive for your team to play really hard in that one game. It would be must-see TV. The pick bumps you up like 13 spots in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still out of the lottery, right? You don't get a lottery pick, but you get the first pick outside of the lottery. Builds like, who wouldn't want to see, like from last year, who wouldn't want to see Boston versus Denver in a 1-game third place, winner gets the 15th pick, right? Like, that's fun.
Yeah, that would be exciting. It would be action packed too, and it would be like you'd go from the final, you'd have the finals, and all that all in 1 month. That would be insane.
Yeah, I just feel like we need to think outside the box a little bit about incentivizing teams after they get eliminated, teams that, like, and the other layer to that, this one might be a bridge too far for some of the fans here that support teams that stink, but trust me, I'm a Knick fan. I know the struggle. I think the only way you solve the tanking issue is you create a tournament for the 14 lottery teams. And the team that wins that tournament doesn't get the first pick, but they get the number one pick odds in the lottery. Does that make sense? So if
Yeah.
your team finishes with the worst record in the regular season, you get the best odds, which is about 14% to get the number one overall pick.
Mm-hmm. I think right now it's like 15, 15, 15, and then it goes down to like
Right.
11, stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So in my proposal, the odds stay the same, but where you get slotted with those odds depends on how you perform in this tournament.
I think that would also incentivize like playing better, because we see, like, for example, the Raptors right now. In my opinion, I feel like they're tanking. It might not be because they're not, doing the best as they could, but it would stop teams from like just trying to get that number one pick, from trying to get that bottom three pick, and it would make them actually, like, we see how well they play, and it could also provide guys with more opportunities to sign elsewhere in that tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Well, community, as always, I appreciate y'all taking the time. I've got a hard stop, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to duck out here. But thank you again. And I look forward to answering more questions on Friday. See you all there.
Thank you for taking your time to come join us here. Have a great day.
Likewise, Mo. Excellent job hosting, and thanks for joining us.
I just want to reiterate another thank you for everyone who asked questions, for everyone who showed up. There'll be another office hours, hopefully Friday, around the same time. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Peace out.